is asked for the masses to be able to gain something from such questions. When we look at all of our sastras, as I've said before, questions are asked. And if you want to know something, then you must ask the right questions. The right questions derive the right answers. Unfortunately, our projector isn't working. However, I hope that with explanation, that you would see the value to this katha. And so, when we look at a cell is the most basic form of life. It is the building block of life. And then you ask, well, Panditji, how is it that a cell, we can learn so much from a cell? Because many a time we look outwardly for all of these answers. We see that when we're in school, we look outwardly to ask for better approaches to solving a problem. When we're at our jobs, we look to what the other companies around us are doing to solve our problems. However, today, we are taking an introspection and we're looking at the most basic block of life. And what is the most important characteristic for that cell to have, which is also the most important characteristic for each and every one of us to have? That is a higher purpose. Without a higher purpose, then everything that you would have done comes to nothing. When we perform our puja, Forbes magazine says that the most important attribute to success is planning. Well, if you have a higher purpose, then that plan starts to fall into place. If you don't have that higher purpose, or that one single pinpointed goal, then the purpose becomes scattered. And so when we sit down for our puja, what is the first thing that we do? After we wash our hands, we offer swasti vachan, we invoke all of those blessed attributes of Bhagwan to come and reside at the Devi. We take our sankalp. Sankalp is our intention. Sankalp is our aims, our goals, our objectives. All of those things sum into one. And so when we look at that cell, and we look at the higher purpose, what is the higher purpose of the cell? Every cell works for the welfare of the whole body. What do I mean by that? I mean that white blood cells are killed off in fighting foreign bodies. When our ancestors went to the shores of Guyana from India, or Trinidad, or Jamaica, or many of the other Indian diaspora continents and countries, what was their goal? Their goal was to create a better life for their children than they had. And political issues, economic issues, all of this was facing them. However, in spite of that, they believed there was something better to come about. And so even those who died along the way, they died in the name of a higher purpose, a higher calling, and greater things to be expected. Not always did they experience that. However, that was the purpose. That was the higher purpose that was intended. When Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra was to take avatar on the face of the earth, why did he take avatar? He has many reasons that he gives that he took avatar. But the main reason, the core of the reason, is to save his devotees. From what? From all of the atrocities that would be committed. There is a very beautiful chant which Sri Ramcharitamanas expounds the glories of the Devatas singing to Bhagwan. Why? Because at that particular time, all of the Devatas, all of the citizens were in quandary. And they wanted Bhagwan to come down and be able to save them. Or if Bhagwan could send somebody just like him, but there is no other like that Bhagwan that we speak of. Jai Jai Sur Nayak Jan Sukhdayak Pranit Pal Bhagavanta Jai Jai Sindhusuta Priyaganda Palan Sudharani Adbhut Karani Marman Jani Koi Jo Sahaj Kripala Deen Dayana Karo Anugrah Soy Sita Ram 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 Sita Ram 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 Sita Ram Ram Sita Ram 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 Sita Ram 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 Jaya Jaya Avinashi Sabgat Vyasi Vyapak Paramananda Abhigati Bodhitam Sarat Punitam Maya Ranatamanda Viraji Viraji Ati Anuragi Muni Brahmanda Nisi Vasar Dhamari Gun Gan Gavari Jayati Sachidananda Sitaram Kaho Radhe Shyam Kaho Sitaram Kaho Radhe Shyam Kaho Sitaram Kaho Tripad Banari Sang Sahai Jaya Hokar Hua Dhari Chind Hamari Bhakti Na Pooja Jo Bhav Bhai Vanjan Muni Man Ranjan Ranjan Vipat Baruta Man Bach Brahmani Chadi Sayani Sarana Sakal Surjuta Sitaram Kaho Radhe Shyam Kaho Sitaram Kaho Radhe Shyam Kaho Shyam Kaho Radhe Shyam Kaho Sarad Sudhishesha Rishya Ashesha Jata Hukho Nahi Jana Jehi Deen Tiyare Ved Pukare Raghuvat Sri Bhagavana Bhav Bharati Mandar Sab Priti Sundar Gun Mandir Sukh Punja Muni Se Jasakar Parma Bhaya Loknath Paj Kanda Sitaram Kaho Radhe Shyam Kaho Sitaram Kaho Radhe Shyam Kaho Sitaram Kaho Radhe Shyam Kaho Sitaram Kaho Radhe Shyam Sitaram Kaho Radhe Shyam Kaho Sitaram Kaho Radhe Shyam Kaho प्रेम से बोलो श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। So why did Bhagwan take form? What was Bhagwan's higher purpose in this case? Mother Earth went to Bhagwan Sri, to Satchidanand, that unseen form, and petitioned along with the other devatas and asked for that infinite consciousness to come and take avatar on the face of the earth, so that she could be able to be relieved of her sufferings. I ask of each and every one of you that in order for you to be able to understand the purpose of this life, then what is your higher purpose? And if we can find our higher purpose, we'll see great things happen within our lives. What is the other attribute? And just to let you know beforehand, there are 9 attributes that I will talk about. We've covered 1 tonight. That the higher purpose, in my opinion, sankalp, in my opinion, along with the intention, according to Srimad Bhagavad Gita, if you take others' state of being more than your own state of being, if you take other the interests of others ahead of yourself, then it is said by Srimad Bhagavad Gita that one is blessed to have such quality. And so having a higher purpose allows that. What is the other characteristic that a cell should possess and that we should possess? That is communion. Binu sat sang vivek na hoi, Ram kripa binu sulabh na soi. That there is nothing greater than having satsang, or having company that uplifts you. Company which creates goodness wherever you go. Satsang isn't only us sitting here. Satsang is when you go to school, those that uplift you, and those that create higher thinking within you. That is also satsang. Surrounding yourself with the best and brightest minds wherever you go, whether it's at work, whether it's at school, any place. That is satsang. That is true communion. Because it is that which upholds, that is dharma. That which, dharma has about 7 different meanings. The full encapsulation meaning of dharma cannot be limited. Because dharma is so vast. Dharma can mean religion. Dharma can mean duty. Dharma can mean upholding, or that which upholds, that which supports. All of these are definitions of dharma. And so what does it say with communion? That every cell keeps in touch with every other cell. For example, hormone signals are sent to keep the body on homeostasis. In the entirety of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, what does it talk about? It talks about one having this samatvam, this equilibrium, equal mind. That it is not always hot, it is not always cold. You won't always enjoy pleasure and you won't always suffer and pain. But those who welcome both equally, those are truly blessed souls. And so, having satsang allows us this means through which we can understand what is good. It is said that that celestial swan which Mother Saraswati sits upon, that swan has the ability to siphon milk from water. Milk in this case representing all of the good qualities, all of the good things in life. And water representing the negative tendencies under this particular example. That celestial swan is able to siphon out the milk and release the water. Because it has that power of vivek, that power of discrimination. And that power of discrimination gives us the ability to select friends, select company that would only uplift us. And when we look at Srimad Bhagavad Gita, There's a particular quality that humans possess that no other animal, no other creature possesses. And what is that quality? Karmani eva karaste ma paleshu kadachana ma karma palahetur bhurmate sangutva akarmani. That, what does human possess? What is this particular quality? The quality of choice, adhikar. That you have adhikar over your respective duty. You have adhikar over. You have the ability to choose to perform your duty, to perform whatever you want. However, if you are performing it in good intent, with good values, with good thoughts behind it, you have no attachment to the results of those actions. The fruits of that work should not be your motive. You should never be inactive or original. As much as the yogis sit down for thousands and thousands of years performing tapasya, according to our sastras, Manu and Satrupa performed tapasya for thousands of years on their Annamaya Kosh, this mortal body. Then another few thousand years was performed just on the Pranamaya Kosh. We know that we have many different bodies. So all of these things were being performed, immense tapasya. And then when they couldn't fast any longer on food and water and they survived only on their pure ear, then that Satchidanand came to them and asked them, for what boon should I grant unto you? And so they asked for Bhagwan to be born into their homes so that they could play with Bhagwan as a child. That same Manu and Satrupa were born as who in the next kalpa? Kashyap and Aditi. Kashyap was one father and he had two wives, Diti and Aditi. Aditi gave birth to all of the Devatas and Diti gave birth to all of the Asuras. And why did they give birth to these two different qualities, although it was from the same father? They gave birth to these two different qualities because Diti didn't have respect for time, place, circumstance. However, Aditi wanted the right particular constellation, all of the right surrounding times, so that auspiciousness could reign. And so too, when we make the right choices, then that satsang can be had within our families. Never mind us look at our very own family. That's satsang. Thereafter, after Kashyapa or Kashyapa in that kalpa, who did they become? Dasrath and Kausalya in that next kalpa, in which Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra was born into their home. And that was one of the reasons why Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra came in the form of a baby. To fulfill the wishes of his devotee. It is just to show you that today we think, as much as I sit here, my great-grandfather Lal Maharaj is just a dream. In all of our memories, it is just a dream. However, when we look at Sri Ramcharitamanas, it is not just a dream, it is not just a story. It is something which happens within us each and every day. Are we able to invoke that presence each and every day? Do we care to invoke that presence? Another chand which exudes such beauty, which was experienced by Mother Kausalya when she saw this form, and Raja Dasarath, is another chand. We join together as we sing.